Okay, so let's go ahead and start the video. And the video runs about 10-12 minutes. And during the video, you can ask questions. And we've got a bunch of experts online that can answer your questions. So Trevor and I can just sit back and sip coffee and watch you watch. So I'm going to drop that video right now. And check your speakers. You should hear sound. Starting. Wait, it's loading. Here we go. Loaded. Here we go.
This is Aaron from the KICKER Tech Force.
And I'm Trevor with SSV Works.
And we're here to talk about the collaboration between the kings of off-road power sports and the kings of audio. So stick around.
Thanks for having us out, man. Can you tell us a little bit about how KICKER got started?
So way back in 1973, Mr. Steve Irby was in a band, and they were creating these monster speakers for their band to play music. Well, in 1980, car stereo really took off, so we got heavy into car audio. So here we are 46 years later, and we are a dominant force in performance audio. Tell us more about SSV Works and why we chose to work with you guys.
Sure, absolutely. Well, we started 13 years ago showing the first Yamaha Rhino ever seen at the SEMA show, and the rest they say is history. Our team has an audio background, our engineering has an automotive background, and we took that effort we knew how to do in automotive, we brought it to power sports, and our team focuses strictly on power sports. So being able to have vehicle integration, all the right fit and finish parts, we're an OEM style factory fit and finish with OEM parts, and it makes it a really, really nice option for the dealer because everything fits like it's supposed to because it was made to do so.
One of the challenges we run into in our retail partners is knowing exactly how to tear apart and reassemble a vehicle. So how does SSV Works address that?
Well, and that changes a lot with off-road actually, because you have speed, you have heat, you have mud and water, so our dynamic changes a lot from the automotive world, even from marine. Everything we do is purpose-built. From our wiring, our enclosures, our connections, everything is done so that way we make sure the installer has the best usable experience, the customer has the most reliable opportunity. It makes the whole thing so easy for them to go in, and they know every time they go out it's going to work. Because guys so rarely get to go out and have fun with these things, they want to make sure it works every single time.
That's a good point, because once you invest the kind of money and time into this system, you want it to be amazing every time you start up the motor.
And you've gone out for the weekend, you don't want to be in the desert or in the mud and not have your system work or not have something work on your car, so reliability is really, really important for these guys.
Let's talk about some of the components that go into the system.
Great.
On the KICKER side of things, we're using our marine speakers, and we chose the marine speakers for many reasons, one of which is durability.
Yep.
As you know, these things have to survive outside, all weather, all the time, and they cannot fail because that user experience just goes bad.
Absolutely, and that particular speaker is also designed to be heard loud with a high noise floor over a lot of ambient noise, wind noise, and things like that. So it was a natural choice for us in the KICKER line because it sounds amazing and it cuts through all of that extra noise floor and all that outside stimulus noise you get in an open air environment. So it sounds great in a side-by-side as well.
For sure. Now, of course, bass. Bass is what KICKER was founded on.
Right.
If you can't feel the bass, it's not loud enough.
Yep.
So we have to put a specific subwoofer into these applications as well.
Yep.
Now I understand these vehicles are very tight and there's not a lot of room for air.
That's right.
So how do we make a subwoofer enclosure that sounds great and fits the lifestyle?
Great question. So a lot of people would think a marine woofer would be the optimal woofer for this application, but it's absolutely not because of the design of the woofer itself. We use your power sports woofer, the CWRT, because it's small enough to fit in the enclosures. It also has the right airspace requirements for about 0.7 cubic feet, which means we're able to do a properly sized 10-inch enclosure. It's also rigid. We use a full form fiberglass enclosure, which is going to have the best sound quality possible, and it also installs seamlessly into the vehicle. So we're using factory mounting points. We're optimizing location, and an open air vehicle placement is pretty important. In the trunk it wouldn't work, for example, right, or in the bed. So by optimizing on the RZR kit up underneath the dash, we're getting the whole under dash cavity. We get more bass reflection that way, and it sounds amazing, as you've heard.
By choosing a smaller driver but optimizing the enclosure and the location in the vehicle, we can get fantastic bass response without losing any space and get maximum output.
That's right. And another key component in choosing that woofer is efficiency and power handling. We don't have big alternators like cars and trucks do, so we have to be really sensitive with the power sports amps that we picked that it's a properly matched system with the woofer, so we know we're not going to run into any issues of power. Because again, with a stator, we have a very fixed amount of power to work with.
What is a stator?
A stator is not quite like an alternator. It's internal off the motor, and it has a regulated amount of output. And so it's very common in power sports and motorcycles and things like that. We don't get nearly the amount of amp output. So when you guys start running light bars and all these extra accessories, we have to be very, very power conscious. And the nice thing about stereo is it's dynamic. So based on the type of music, obviously the volume of the music, it's not like a light bar where it draws a constant amount of current and it kills the battery much more quickly. We get hours and hours of playtime out of our systems in the dunes and by the side of the mud hills and things like that when we're hanging out with our stereos because of the way the system's designed.
For amplifiers, we actually chose to go with the PX 500.1, which is a 500 watt bass amplifier.
Right.
And then we have a 4-channel to run the 6 and 4-inch speakers depending on the vehicle. And it's a 300 watt 4-channel amplifier. And as you pointed out, they're very small, very efficient.
Yep.
And one of the design philosophies behind these is low current consumption. As you mentioned, the vehicles have very little current capacity. When you start adding all these other electronics, you do not want an amplifier to fail when you're out in the middle of nowhere having a great weekend. So that's why we use the PX series amplifiers.
And it's not even just amplifier failure, right? So we're sensitive to that, but also to actually being left stranded. In some of these cars, they just don't have enough power and enough battery. If you flip on, actually, I know guys, if you flip on every light in the car, it kills the car because the power consumption for the stator and the batteries is overdrawn. So we're really sensitive to that, and that's why this amplifier selection has been a perfect fit for us over the last number of years because they're efficient, they sound great, and they're reliable.
One of the challenges for our retail partners is to properly set gains, crossovers, essentially tuning the amplifier for the speaker complement. So how do you guys handle that?
So we handle that as a closed loop system. This comes out of the box actually as you see everything here on the table. We pre-install the speakers, we pre-mount the subwoofer, we pre-mount and tune the amplifiers. In fact, we also do a plug and play system as you can see on the wiring for the amplifiers. So what that means is you have a positive locking waterproof connection, so you're never gonna have to worry about RCA cables coming undone or shorting or mud. I mean, sand gets everywhere in these applications. So by having a plug and play system that's fully weatherproof, it drops right in on our mounting system into factory holes. It makes a really easy experience. We know these are going exactly where we designed them to because it's plug and play and it drops right in. It makes it really easy for the dealer. It's reliable. You never have to worry about the way vibration affects things. I mean, these things G out. They jump, they flip, they roll. So having a positive system like this that's going to lock and mount where we want it makes it a lot more reliable and a lot more efficient in its install.
So as a beginner installer just getting into my career, this sounds like a great system for me to get my feet wet, because I can do this system and be confident every time that it works exactly as you guys designed it.
Even for experienced installers, they love it because it's simple. It's plug and play, it's fast. You don't have to sit there and lay glass for a couple of days. A key component for power sports actually is, if you think about it, these vehicles are not street legal. This is not a Jeep, it's not a truck, it's not a Harley. You have to get, most states, you have to get a trailer. Sometimes guys are pulling out their big toy haulers and their dualies and they're towing it to the shop. Now I've got to drop my side-by-side off at your shop, take my trailer home, come back 2 days later. It turns out to be just a huge inconvenience. When you can do a plug and play kit in a number of hours, you've created a situation for that customer where he doesn't have to go to the shop twice, he doesn't have to go to storage. It makes it a really easy experience. It's going to be reliable every time. The dealer can get it put in faster, and he doesn't have to mess with worrying about the details or anything else. It goes in, it's designed for it, like a VSS type kit would be. It's purpose built.
So what about the source unit? What do I use for my audio?
So we've streamlined that as well and have a Bluetooth controller that has AM, FM, auxiliary input, and Bluetooth. Most of the time these guys are running obviously Pandora or Sirius from their phones, and they're streaming directly to it, or obviously just Bluetooth throughout like Apple Music or Samsung, for example. And this mounting tray goes in the lower pocket. It provides accessory switch spots. So lots of guys are adding winches, they're adding whips, they're adding light bars and things like that. So they get spots to go ahead and mount all that. Also, the Bluetooth controller can be seen directly in sunlight, which is a key component, because again, we're in an outdoor vehicle. So a lot of the cars don't have roofs, but even the ones that do, coming in through the doors, the windshield, from behind, it makes it really, really hard to see. So when you have a system like this with the LCD display that's fully backlit, you've got everything at the touch of your fingers, the buttons are backlit, you can use them with gloves. It's just a really easy solution in a really compact unit.
I've been hearing a lot about Ride Command, and how is this different than a Ride Command solution?
Good question. So Ride Command's gotten really popular recently for Polaris RZR. It's a really neat system, and it has mapping, it has diagnostics, it has speed, it has other features in it as well, but it's hard to integrate with, and a lot of people have had a hard time with that. So we're seeing customers doing installs and putting decks below a Ride Command unit. You have a really cool 7-inch touchscreen display that has audio, so why not take advantage of it? So we've perfected through our harnessing and our interfacing a system that plugs right into Ride Command. So now your customer can stream Bluetooth directly to the Ride Command piece, control everything right from his factory display. You don't need another head unit, you don't need a CD player, you don't need any of that stuff. And our amps all integrate perfectly with it. No turn on pop, incredible sound quality. It's such a great solution, and it doesn't have noise like some of the other things we see guys doing custom, because it was designed to work the Ride Command.
So in a Phase 5 system, what all am I getting?
So in a typical Phase 5 kit, you're going to get front kick panels that are engineered to go down in the kick panel area for the best sound quality. There are also rigid enclosures that just bolt right in, and they clear your feet. So I'm size 13 shoe. I'm 6'3". If it fits me, it's going to fit just about anybody. We make sure they're clear of everybody's feet, touch points and things like that. You get the full amplifier system. So it's going to mount up underneath the dash where it's the highest and driest part in the car. All the wiring that you need to simply just plug and play, from the battery connections, even the speaker connections are plug and play. They're all our waterproof connectors. It makes it really, really easy. The sub enclosure that goes underneath the glove box. That's cool. So we have a unique patent on this that allows us to have this storage compartment in the glove box along with the whole sealed enclosure, and you have a woofer that goes right in it. Obviously, we're optimizing an enclosure. You still have storage space for gloves, registration, toilet paper, things like that, right? Whatever you need on the trail, man, it happens. And again, even this system is plug and play, right? We see guys drilling holes and running wire and using silicone. It's just not waterproof. It's not convenient. It's slow. Our plug and play system makes it so much easier. And the last part of the Phase 5 kit would be the cage pod speakers that mount on the rear cage pods behind a 2-seat or a 4-seat car on the back of a cage. And that brings a lot of sound both in the car for wind and also around the car. So big part of side-by-sides is not just riding, but it's tailgating, it's hanging out by the hill, hanging out outside of camp. Cage pods and a Phase 5 kit make a huge difference.
Wow. So you get a lot of stuff that's easy to install
in one box.
And it's guaranteed to sound great every time.
It's because whether it's a RZR system or an X3 system or a General system, it's the same component mix essentially, tuned specifically to that vehicle, and it's all installed the same way. So it makes it really easy to be repeatable, and the sound quality is consistent.
Something you and I were talking about offline that I want to bring up is you mentioned that you're not happy with off-the-shelf bolts.
Right, so actually we redesigned our own hardware. So whether we're using a different Phillips bit or in some cases we actually redesigned the head on a Torx bolt so that we get better engagement with the Torx driver. We also use all stainless steel hardware, but looks are a big thing to me. I hate stainless hardware on a black car when you have plastics. I like it to look more factory. So we even black coat all of our stainless steel and nylock it as well, which means the customer's not gonna have to worry about having Loctite. He's not gonna have to worry about bolts backing out. Again, the vibration that these things have when you're off-roading is intense. So having the hardware stay where we want it to makes it a much better experience, and we designed our hardware specifically for that reason. I mean, plain and simple, if you guys are looking for a simple plug-and-play audio solution for a side-by-side vehicle, the KICKER SSV Works kits are by far the easiest way to go. Great sound quality, everything you need in one box.
Aaron, are you all right? Did we lose you? Trevor, are you online?
And I'm here.
Aaron, if you're online, we can't hear you. There's Trevor. I can see Trevor's face. Can't see Aaron, can't hear Aaron.
All right, guys, we're getting over some technical difficulties here for a second. So I wanted to thank you for watching the video there, and we can talk about a couple other parts, and we do have our panelists to answer questions if anybody has any questions about either side-by-sides or vehicle-specific applications like some of the ones we just talked about. I also have a few other parts that we can talk about as well while we get Aaron back online.
All right, Aaron's saying he is locked up. Have Trevor take over. He is going to have to, you're going to have to take over presenter, Trevor.
All righty. We may be short of Aaron for a minute, but I'll go ahead and get you guys taken care of. Again, remember that chat box on the side over there. You guys can ask our crew questions. We'll be able to help get you some information. The kit we saw up online was the Polaris RZR kit for 14 through 18 RZRs, and that's going to fit RZR 900, RZR 1000, turbo, and turbo applications, 2-seat and 4-seat. So we cover most of all side-by-sides that people are riding, the most popular applications and the most popular platforms with simply that one system. If it's a newer application that has Ride Command, of course, there is a Ride Command adapter and kit as well. Ride Command is a 7-inch touchscreen panel that goes in dash. Very, very popular right now, obviously, because you get all of your vehicle diagnostics in center dash, you get mapping, and it does have some head unit functions. but these head unit functions have been very, very difficult. There's a lot of noise associated with the ride command. It's been really challenging. A lot of guys are trying to cut cables and solder in RCAs, and there's some technical issues with the way the ride command actually works, because it's not really a head unit, but it does function as one. We've taken all the mystique out of that with our plug and play kit, and it makes it where you get great quality audio, super loud and clean, plugs right into the ride command connector. So there's 3 plugs on the back of the ride command. The amplifiers plug right in, and it sounds exactly like you would expect a kit from KICKER and SSV to sound, with the ease of simplicity in the way we design it. So the ride command options have been very, very popular, as obviously that is the new platform going forward with Polaris. It's a neat display, neat screen. It does everything. If you don't have a Polaris application, hey, there's Aaron. Welcome back. No audio from you yet, buddy.
Okay.
But and if you don't, there we go.
I'm listening to you, Trevor. Go, man. It's great.
All right, cool. So that was our Polaris applications. In terms of the Can-Am, so we do take a recipe of trying to make our systems all sound the same by controlling, again, like I said in that video, is a closed loop system. So we are controlling the speakers, the amplifiers, the sub, the tuning, where we're going to get common enclosure volume, so we get the same amount of bass output. All the wiring is plug and play, and we just make them vehicle specific, so that we're able to control that system. And for example, in a Can-Am, we did have a small change in it, and in that car, as big as it is, there's not a lot of room inside of it. So there is a location on the dashboard in the Can-Am X3 for a tweeter that Can-Am puts into the factory option. Obviously, a tweeter on the dash and a 6-inch mid in the floor and a pair of 6s behind you is not great for audio staging. You don't want to have that much separation between our mids and highs. And so what we did was we took a KICKER 4-inch marine speaker here, and we built it into a full enclosure that is plug and play, just like the rest of our components. So it makes it really, really easy. We bring the audio nice and high up in the dashboard, and you get great staging out of it. But this problem is plagued like every other solution out there for Can-Am until now, which is where the speakers fire directly up because they are literally mounted on the top of the dashboard. Speakers, like headlights, are directional, and if we fire headlights straight down, you can kind of see around you, but not where you're going. So with these speakers, we created an acoustic lens that sits on top of the dash. So this whole system sits underneath the dash panel, and this lens is all that sticks up there. And what this does is it collects a tweeter, and it redistributes the tweeter up off the acoustic lens to the driver and passenger. So you're getting great sound quality, great fidelity, and staging right in front of you, which means it's going to sound louder. And again, in a side-by-side, we can't put the windows up. You know, we can't keep the car quiet. It is incredibly loud at 75 miles an hour. So staging and presence is everything. And we've done a lot of work to make this car sound amazing with having the acoustic lens and the 4-inch speakers up front, 6 inches behind. It's a great, great system. And
Trevor,
just
that's
as an
a
example,
really
you saw
clever solution. Can I interrupt you for a second, Trevor? That's a really clever
Please.
solution, that lens. And I'm curious, in the development process, how did that evolve? Like, hey guys, let's put a waveguide on the speaker. How did you guys come up with that idea?
As we looked at the application and started testing in different models to figure out, you know, we know what the speaker does, and as we had to put the speaker in place based on the limitations of the vehicle, we lost a lot of the clarity, especially during the driving test, as you would expect, because the tweeters are firing right up, and you're sitting back here, so we're not getting that image. I mean, you guys put swivel tweeters in your components for a reason. That imaging is important. So we started playing with probably 20 different iterations in CAD using imaging in order to get the angles that we needed exactly right. Then we went to Tool and played with a number of different versions of this lens. And, you know, our engineers do a great job of making this work, but I was blown away at just the differences that we had in the iterations that made this work. And we settled on the one that sounded the best and also gave you the flexibility. So a lot of those big speakers that go on the dashboard don't let aftermarket roll cages fit. This low profile lens is all that sticks up above the dash, and it works with all the aftermarket roll cages there are. So this whole thing sits under, the lens sits on top. We get the flexibility of all aftermarket accessories. We're compatible with everything, and we sound the best.
Trevor, that's a clever solution, Trevor.
Trevor, if I can present a question to you, we got a couple of folks asking some questions. More specifically,
Sure.
If you already have a KICKER SSV kit installed, and then the customer buys a 2019 or 2020 vehicle, like let's say a RZR or an X3, how could we easily transfer that?
Run that by me one more time. What year vehicles are we talking about?
So if you have an older one, let's say it's a 2016, and the customer then buys a newer model, a 2019 or a 2020 RZR, can you transfer that kit over to the new vehicle?
Sure. So some of the components are the same. The kick panels will fit 14 through 20. The cage pods will fit 14 through 20. All the wiring and connectivity is the same. The sub box has been changed for 2019, but it's a subtle change. We've had a lot of 12-volt guys make modifications. It can be done, but we do have a direct fit sub box for that. And in 19, they changed the shape of the dashboard. So we have a different vehicle-specific mounting system that is available for 19 and 20. So same component mix, but different orientation.
Can those parts be bought onesie-twosie or only as a full kit, the updated parts?
Yeah, with proof of purchase, we do have our tech service guys will be able to help you guys out. It's not a component we would normally do, but again, it's something that we want to help the customers have the best experience, and especially a dealer, make sure they get their customer taken care of, so they can reach out to our tech guys and we can help them get that figured out.
Good question, Ken. Thanks for bringing that up. So, Trevor, I've got in front of me here the audio source, the Bluetooth transceiver, and it is deceptively simple. Of course, the piece that goes on the front here, there's I guess I don't have the brain box here, but what are the advantages of using this, what looks like a very simple piece?
So, you're doing 75 miles an hour over a set of hoops in the dirt this tall, wearing a helmet, with rocks and stuff all around you. Focus is very important. So we really focused on what you need in the audio, which is large buttons that are backlit so you can find them. They're shaped so that you can find them with your finger quickly and easily. We wanted to make something that would just do what the customer needed and sounds great. It is a Bluetooth receiver. It has AM, FM as well, and auxiliary input. So if your buddy jumps in, he can just plug his phone in without having to do the whole Bluetooth pairing sequence. And that's it. It's low profile. It's very small, so it goes exactly where we want it to. It's not restricted in space. It sounds great with a 4-volt output, so we're going to get a lot of clarity from the head unit without having to worry about noise and compromising, like maybe other solutions would on the market.
So there's some safety in the simplicity of the design, really.
Absolutely. We're off-road, double-din flip-out screens and the such are a bit overkill. We wanted something that's going to sound good and work well for the customer.
Sure. And of course, once this has been installed properly, it's watertight.
Exactly right. So that whole system's weatherproof, and even the LCD we designed to be seen in direct sunlight. So the brighter the sunlight, the easier it is to see. Aside from being backlit, again, you can see it in direct sunlight. And the reason being is we're outdoors. It's open. Sometimes you don't have roofs on the vehicles. Almost never have windows and doors. So we've got all kinds of elements and all kinds of environment around us that we have to take care of. And with a unit like that, you can see it in direct sunlight doing 80.
Nice. So I've got the amplifier plate here in front of me as well. And, there's the brain box for the controller.
Yep,
it's so
plug and play.
I didn't see it. Yeah, so that's nice. So it's a pretty stout unit, all in one. You get it mounted and just plug it in, and you're ready to go. So that's
and again, a big part of this for us was simplicity and ease of install. We want these customers to spend more time riding and less time wrenching. We want the shops to be able to put these in quickly and make it simple and reliable. By having everything go where we designed it, we know that there's never going to be any variables. Install will be faster, and the customer can ride every time. We still rarely get to go have fun. You want it to work every time you do, and we've taken a lot of that out. A lot of people tout their systems to be plug and play, but you have a box full of boxes. The KICKER SSV kit is fully loaded. All the components are installed. The speakers are installed. The subs installed. The amps are pre-tuned, and all of the wiring is plug and play. So again, we use this simple plug and play architecture where all the wiring harnessing is just plug in. We don't have binding posts. We don't have raw wire. You don't have to crimp, solder, or anything. It's just click and go.
Say, I've got another poll I want to throw up here, Trevor. We want to ask our audience about audio upgrades that they have planned or they want to do or have done. So I'm going to launch that real quick, and we'd like your input on these. guys and girls sitting out there. The question is, stock audio is fine for me. I plan to upgrade the audio. I already have upgraded the audio. So we're just curious at what stage you are in your upgrade. Now, of course, if stock audio is fine for you, you're probably not on this webinar because we're not here for stock audio. We're here for the serious upgrade. So we would like you to jump up off your seats and run to your keyboard and give us some input on where you are in your upgrade. It looks like so far about 10% have already upgraded the audio. So you're here just to get more information about perhaps your next upgrade. We do know that a lot of folks, they start with a basic upgrade, maybe a couple of speakers. They like it, and then they decide, you know, I need more. So then they want to add more power. Or maybe you just put in this kit, and you've got the kit, and you say, you know, this is phenomenal, but now I want to have music way over there, like a wake tower system for a boat. And how do I add that on? So actually, that's something, Trevor, we want to talk about in just a minute, is if you've got this kit and you love it, but you just want to add some more to it, let's talk about a couple of ways we can do that. So about half our folks have answered the poll, so I'm going to close the poll, and then you can tell us what's the next step after you love this kit, but you want a little more.
Okay. So yeah, starting out with stock audio, as you mentioned on the poll, it's not very common. KICKER SSV had one of the first audio systems available in Arctic Cat. There are only a few vehicles, and in that, there's only a few trim levels of those vehicles that actually have audio available, which is absolutely why everybody wants more, because 2 is 1, 1 is none, and more is more. So with the Polaris Ride Command kit, for example, there is a very small section trim level that has the Ride Command system and 2 door speakers. We're doing 80 miles an hour. A pair of speakers kind of hung on the doors aren't going to give us enough output. So we do have our system with Ride Command that will literally replace those and do a full 5-speaker kit, 800 watts. So we're putting 500 watts to the woofer, 300 watts to the mids and highs. And, you know, the difference is like going from a 4-cylinder to a supercharged V8. It is totally a different ballgame. And these customers like loud, right? I mean, we're out there where, you know, in some states we're wearing helmets doing 80 miles an hour. You get a lot of frequency attenuation. You lose a lot of sound quality. So we want to have the right speaker mix, the right sound quality, and the right amount of power. And that's what our kit does for people. It lets you have more, but it's modular. If you're on a budget, you can do a 3-speaker kit, you know, without the rear cage pods, and always consider adding those later. So we have a little bit of something for every budget and every customer.
I was going to pop up our website here real quick. So I want to show customers, folks maybe not familiar with the systems we're talking about, I want to show them how easy it is to pick out what you need from our website. So I just got to show, maybe, oh, I got to, sorry, I have to take back the control here. So what I want to show you is the part of our website where you can find SSV Works. So on your screen here, you should be looking at kicker.com, and you can see the systems right here, the Polaris RZR kits. There's the Ride Command upgrade kit right on our website, Polaris General kits. The Phase 3, Phase 5 simply tells you how many speakers in the system. 3-speaker system is a subwoofer and 2 coax speakers and enough power to drive all that. The 5-speaker system adds another couple of speakers, so you got a total of 5 coax speakers and then the subwoofer. And all the kits have the 4-channel amp, so you can always add more. If you start with the 3-channel and you think, oh, I need more, you can. You've already got the power on board, so you can add that additional set of speakers. So that's what you're looking at here on our website.
To touch on that expansion even a little bit further, these are all 4-ohm speakers, and the amplifiers are all 2-ohm stable, which means we've had guys go and add cage pods to their cage pods. Some fire forward, some fire back, so you get the ultimate amount of sound. We can literally run 2 or 1 or 2 more pairs of speakers in this system. Simply just plug and play again. So that's something that we can help customers with. And for the guy who wants more, and again, they want more, this is a great way to do that as well.
Yeah, I often tell people I've been doing this more than 20 years now, and one of the things I've learned is this is consistent, is once you get a taste of high quality audio, you suddenly want more high quality audio. So the upgradability built into the system is really a nice feature. Trevor, any closing thoughts before we log off here? Anything we should fill out the time with?
You know, as a well, we started this 13 years ago, showing the first Yamaha Rhino ever seen at the SHIMA show. They were about $9,000 for a side-by-side back then. You go buy a brand new RZR Pro, it's about $32,000. So this market is growing insanely, and customers love customization. Being able to one up their buddy, being able to have the louder system than what's out there. This is what these guys look for. These kits give that customer a great sounding option compared to trying to piece something together. It's plug and play, it's reliable, it gives great sound to the customer, great options to the dealer, and it's kind of where audio is going. It's a great opportunity. So I want to make it easier for dealers to have all the solutions and the options they need, and customers to get the quality sound they're looking for.
Hey, one other quick question, guys. We have somebody asking if you already have a Phase 3 kit installed, is there a upgrade to Phase 5 that can be purchased separately without having to buy a whole new system?
Yes, absolutely. So I don't know if you guys can hear the question was, can you upgrade your Phase 3 to a Phase 5? And the answer is yes, absolutely. We do have the CagePod add-on. So if you contact us at SSV Works, talk to our support guys and let them know what you have, we'll help you get upgraded to a Phase 5. And again, you could turn it into a 7, and depending on the vehicle, X3s, we can run dual subwoofers. So we can do kind of a lot above and beyond. But yes, you can absolutely add CagePods to that system. There's a cord. It is literally just plug and play and takes minutes.
Okay, cool. There's also another, I just wanted to make sure we got Randy's question answered. If he has a, like let's say a 44 PRZ35 kit in stock, but the customer comes in with a 2020 RZR, what should be his path there?
So if it's a 19 or newer RZR, the current 44 PRZ kits won't directly bolt in. Some savvy 12-volt guys have been modifying components to be able to do it. The kit is only going to be a sub-box modification that a 12-volt shop could do pretty reliably, and the amp plate is definitely different. That would require a little bit of custom work, but again, we do have direct plug-and-play options. All those parts are directly available from us, of course, in the full KICKER phase line as well, but just from SSV Works at this time.
Good. So it can be done. Just requires a little bit of phone calls and maybe some internet time.
Yep, the parts are all available. We can help them get it sorted out if they already have a system, and if they're looking to start new, we've got the exact same fully loaded KICKER audio kits ready to rock.
Awesome. Ken, anything else we should throw out there before we log off?
Yeah, how should the dealer contact SSV regarding customer upgrades and options?
Great. So you can contact us at SSV, like, actually, in case you guys didn't know, that side-by-side vehicle. So it's easy to remember. SSVworks.com, or call us at 818-991-1778. Again, the number's, of course, on the website, and our sales and support staff is there to help. Very knowledgeable and be able to help you guys figure out exactly what you have and what you need to get where you're going.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Trevor.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Well, I guess that wraps us up. Thank you. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Great. No, I was just going to say any other questions, but I think we're in great shape.
I think that handles it. So thank you, folks, for joining us today. At the end of this, when you log off, you're going to get an email that says thank you. We also would like to know more about what you would like to see in the future. So please drop us an email and say, hey, I'd like to see this, or learn more about this, so that we can speak to you directly in the future. Thank you very much. Happy holidays, and we'll be seeing you.
See you out there.